Okay, welcome aboard. We're getting started a little early. I've been waiting for this podcast since 4:30 in the morning. Lenny and I have been up, and we will be, we're about to see how many of you slept in today. And the sound is good already. Holy moly. All right, so everybody refresh. We got sound in the chat room and all is good. We have only a few friends today. James K is here. Rotorius is here. Danny Fuller and Penny Fuller. Great to see you. Boston Paul was here a second ago. Must have went back to sleep because he was up early as anybody. Triple Play, great to see you. Lenny, of course, is here. Now, you guys are probably all wondering why it's just my voice. Lenny's here. He's just taking a day off. And I figure we can do some tidbits, and then we can go and continue on with the free agent news that we started yesterday. Tommy Johnson, welcome aboard. Great to see you. So maybe we should wait a couple minutes. This is crazy. We start early just to make sure the sound comes through the chat room, but it came through quickly today. So say hi, Leonard.
Hello, everybody.
He says hello, everybody. He's doing fine. Just needs a day off sometimes. Don't we all just need a day off sometimes? So that's what we're doing.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Lenny will be back tomorrow at, of course, 9 a.m. You can catch a podcast at LennyMelnickFantasySports.com/live every day of the week, 9 a.m. Come and join us in the chat room. We love to have discussions. Lots of great baseball minds here gathering every day of the week. So wonderful to see you all. Now, let's talk about Ohtani's American League batting ranks over the last 3 years. Ohtani ranks second in this is all American League, so he ranks second in home runs, fourth in OBP, second in slugging, second in OPS, second in total bases, fourth in runs, eighth in RBI, first in triples, second in walks, ranks first in intentional walks, and he still found time to start 74 games on the mound and strike out 542 batters while posting a 2.84 ERA. Now, that is excellent, of course, but we have to remember Ohtani it's questionable, okay? His career from this point on is questionable. He's going for a second Tommy John surgery. Obviously getting way too much wear and tear on his arm, which is shown by the fact that he needed another Tommy John surgery. So, yes, while these stats are excellent and he will be the highest paid player in Major League Baseball history, you have to, as a fantasy manager, question the durability of this guy going forward. And I said this yesterday and I'll say it again. Whoever signs Ohtani, whatever team signs Ohtani, is going to realize it was the biggest mistake they ever made about halfway through his contract. It's going to be 10, 11 years long, $500 million. This guy is not going to perform this. This is just my opinion, of course. I'm sure there's some Ohtani fans in the chat room that would disagree with me. Tommy Johnson brings up daylight saving times, and yes, it does throw a lot of people off, but we're glad you're here, and we're glad you set your clocks forward. It probably makes it just that much. Well, we put them back, so that should give you an extra hour of sleep.
Chris Gallo's here.
Good morning to Chris Gallo, who was also very early this morning, because he's in Arizona, and they don't do the clock change over there. So, we're all confused about what time it is. Mike Clevenger's not coming back to the Chicago White Sox, okay? And Marcus Stroman opted out of his Cubs contract, and he will be a free agent. He had $21 million and a year to go on his contract. We weren't sure. It was like a 50-50 call. He had a great first half of the season, but the second half was down, injured, We'll see what happens. $21 million. We remember now that the qualifying offer is up to over $20 million. We'll see how Marcus Stroman fares. Good morning to SM King Turd. Good morning to Boston Paul, Chris Gallo. Great to see you. Daniel Ferrara, James K. Malpal's here. Say hello to Tina. And Rotorius. And we will get going. 481 career innings for Ohtani. Not sure he'll exceed that figure for the rest of his career. I agree with you on that. And so, good morning, Hulksters, according to Daniel. So, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, okay, yesterday made a huge statement. All right, for Oryx team, beating Hanshin 5-1 and forcing Game 7 in the Japan series. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been linked to all kinds of teams. The Mets, the Red Sox, the Cubbies, the Cardinals, of course those pesky Dodgers, and the Yankees are always included in every link we talk about. The Diamondbacks, the Tigers. He pitched a complete game, 9 innings, 1 earned run, 14 strikeouts, no walks, 138 pitches for this guy. Of course, Jim Bowden points out that he pitched a gem, which is forcing a Game 7 in the Japan World Series. Just another reason why he's ranked only behind Ohtani in this year's MLB free agent class. Complete game, okay, 138 pitches. That was his last start before becoming an MLB free agent. 14 strikeouts. That's breaking Yu Darvish's Japan Series records. Another one that we want to talk about and also include your pesky Dodgers, Danny. The Dodgers are lining up to be a landing spot for Japanese star left-handed pitcher Shota Imanaga. All right, that's according to Mark Feinsand. Shota posted a 2.66 ERA with an impressive 29.5% strikeout rate for the Yokohama Bay Stars of the NPB, Japan. He'd be a really nice pickup and come a lot cheaper than Yamamoto. So what do you think about your pesky Dodgers and their interest in Shota from Japan? The Tigers announced that first baseman outfielder Mark Canha has been acquired in a trade with the Brewers. Minor league reliever Blake Holub heads back to Milwaukee in return, so I would assume that Detroit is going to exercise the $11.5 million club option on Canha for the 2024 season, which is essentially $9.5 million decision since that option came with a $2 million buyout. So the trade saves the Brewers from at least that $2 million buyout, while also bringing a 25-year-old reliever into their farm system. That probably makes you very happy, right, James K? Zelmo, good morning to you. Great to see you. And Tony, Tito Luna, and Jeter, good to see you. Tigers acquire Mark Canha in a trade from Milwaukee, inheriting the $11.5 million option they intend to pick up. Canha is an underrated player who performed for the Brewers. Nice move by both teams here, making the most of a situation. Blake Holub is the youngster that they received in return, acquired from Detroit in exchange for Mark Canha. He's 25, 3.03 ERA, and 8 saves in 48 relief appearances between Class A West Michigan, 18 games, and Double-A Erie, 30 games last season. He held opponents to a 226 batting average with 76 strikeouts in 65 and a third innings, while posting a 1.07 whip. Eduardo Rodriguez amazingly opted out of his Tigers deal. He had $49 million and 3 years to go. He refused to go to the Dodgers at the All-Star break, okay? At the trade deadline, he refused to go to the Dodgers. He exercised his no-trade clause, and it's interesting to me that he opted out of almost $50 million. He must think he can get more than 50 over the next 3 years, or he wouldn't have opted out, because clearly he loves it in Detroit. His family likes it in Detroit. He's been very clear about that. The Dodgers are expected to decline Alex Reyes' $3 million club option for this year, sources tell The Athletic. He will receive a $100,000 buyout and become a free agent. Now, the Dodgers did sign Reyes, hoping he could return at some point last year from shoulder trouble, but the former All-Star didn't wind up pitching for them after requiring another procedure. The Dodgers have club option decisions remaining on Joe Kelly, Daniel Hudson, and Blake Trianon. Yes, aggressively played by Eduardo. I wonder if his agent is Scott Boras.
John Garofalo's here.
Good morning to John. How'd your draft turn out? John's been sending us updates from the First Pitch Forum. There was almost 200 guests this year, or attendees, to the weekend-long First Pitch Forum that we love to go to, but we just haven't been able to make it. I wonder how your draft went yesterday. That's one of the highlights of the whole weekend, John. So I hope you did a great job. I'm sure you enjoyed it, and it makes it fun no matter. Eduardo Rodriguez does have a heart issue, and that ain't good. And that was brought to our attention in the chat room. All right. Maybe next year, John. I really hope next year we could make it. Now, here's a rumor for you. Stearns nearly signed Justin Turner a few years ago, and the Mets need him. And Beatty will probably win the job in due time, but you need a viable contingency at third base. The White Sox declined Tim Anderson's $14 million option for next year. Is that surprising to anybody? He put up just a .582 OPS across 524 plate appearances. He will receive a $1 million buyout and enter free agency for the first time in his career. He is the worst. Although his production at the plate fell sharply in 2023, he should draw a good amount of attention this offseason from teams hoping that he can return to form, and there aren't very many shortstops available on the market, so that is why Anderson will likely get hired somewhere. The Mets need more than old man Turner. Well, Turner had a great season this past year, so I don't know what your problem is. Maybe you're just jealous because Turner's not a Dodger anymore. I don't know. Just a hunch. Okay? All right. Anderson was due $14 million. He'll get a $1 million buyout. He did not have a good year. The Reds, let's talk about the Reds. Well, let's talk about the Reds and Joey Votto. So, the Cincinnati Reds, as expected, officially declined Joey Votto's $20 million club option, making him a free agent for the first time. This morning, Votto put up a video on X, thanks to King Turd for reposting that, and I reposted it too. Votto is such a humble guy, he never really got along great with the media vultures, but I'll tell you what, the hometown people in Cincinnati love Votto for many reasons. Not only is he a great veteran in the clubhouse, but he's been with this team for 17 years, loved every minute of it. It's sad to see him go. If he does go, just remember, the Reds can still sign Votto for a lot cheaper than $20 million if they want to continue with a guy like him, a veteran clubhouse leader. okay, on their team. They could sure use him, and he's worth his weight in gold with all these youngsters that are coming up, making this team so exciting. Anyway, if you get a chance, go look at Joey Votto on X, Twitter. You will listen to his video. It's about 3.5 minutes long, and he just talks about Cincinnati and how much he loves it there. It made me tear up like I am right now because Votto is one of the greats, okay? Now, I'm not saying to draft Votto on your fantasy team, all right? There's a big difference. But King Turd wants Votto to go to Toronto. Well, he's from Canada, so you never know. Switch-hitting slugger Josh Bell has exercised his player option for the 2024 season, as noted by the Miami Herald. And in doing so, Bell has opted to remain with the Marlins, where he figures to be the team's primary first baseman in 2024, rather than return to the open market this offseason. James K. says Votto back to the Reds. And Votto is one of Boston Paul's favorite players. Now, yes, thank you, Liam. That's from Daniel, our resident White Sox guy. The Padres have declined their 2-year, $32 million club option on the services of Michael Wacha for next season. Actually, it was for 24 and 25, $32 million for this guy. Now, Wacha will have the opportunity to decide between exercising a $6.5 million player option for next season or hitting the open market. Dennis Lin of The Athletic notes that Wacha is expected to become a free agent. He first signed with the Padres this past offseason on a 4-year, $26 million guarantee, though it now appears likely that deal will wind up being for just 1 year and $7.5 million. At the time of the signing, he was 32 years old. He was coming off his best season in several years after posting a 3.32 ERA and a 4.14 FIP across 23 starts with the Red Sox in 2022. Though at the time it was easy to wonder if Wacha would regress back to the 4.62 ERA he had posted from 2.16 to 2.21, he managed to build upon his 2022 with an even stronger 2023. In 24 starts and 134 and a third innings, Wacha posted a 3.22 ERA that was 27% better than league average, with a 3.89 FIP and a 22.4% strikeout rate. Also, Malpal shared another post from Dennis Lin of The Athletic. He's the Athletic San Diego Padres guy, and he says that the Padres we know that they're preparing to hire another manager since they allowed Bob Melvin to escape to San Francisco. Dennis Lin points out that the Padres are willing to go against convention at multiple levels of the organization. They plan to make an assistant farm director their AAA manager, even though he's never coached a team before. Okay? Mike Daly. Holy moly, as a Padres fan, you just have to be annoyed, okay? Dennis Lin doesn't sound annoyed, but I'll tell you I'm annoyed because here's the thing. They keep doing things that are, in quotes, unconventional, right? And they keep freaking failing. Why do you keep doing things that don't work? Why do you keep AJ Preller around when he's mowed through at least 4 or 5 managers at this point? He has no clue what he's doing. He's an asshole, okay? He's just junk. Now, I'm speaking for my friends here.
Apologize.
I'm not apologizing. Why would I apologize? We don't apologize here. Right, Leonard? When the Rangers attempt to repeat next year's World Series championship, they'll have two more familiar names on the roster. The club announced yesterday that lefty veteran Andrew Heaney exercised his $13 million player option for next season. They also picked up the $6.25 million team option on Jose Leclerc for next season. Now, I'm just checking up with the chat room here, so hang with me. We love Merrill Hearts, and great to see you, friend, in the chat. Yes, sir. Malpal, where's your input on this? 21 people set their clocks back and came to the chat room, and we love it. Yes, Penny, you're allowed to use foul language sometimes if the mood requires it, or if you know. Anyway, good morning, Penny. Thanks for taking care of Danny. All right. Heaney was regarded as a borderline candidate to opt out of his final year in Texas and return to the open market this offseason. MLB trade rumors, the readers of the website MLB Trade Rumors were polled on Heaney's upcoming decision last month. 62% of respondents suggested that Heaney ought to exercise his player option for next season and return to the Rangers, against 38% suggesting he return to the open market in search of a more lucrative deal. Malpal says he doesn't know if AJ Preller is an a-hole, but he's a documented liar and cheater who is incompetent. Okay, well, I guess that fits the definition of what anybody thinks an a-hole is. All right, so with Marcus Stroman, now a free agent, where does he go? $100 million for 5 years, $60 million for 3 years, or $40 million for 2 years with an opt-out? Nobody has a great feel on what Stroman would do because he keeps these things close to his vest. But do you think that it's surprising that Marcus Stroman opted out of almost $50 million? Wait, is that him or... No, that's Eduardo Rodriguez that opted out of 50. I think Marcus Stroman opted out of $21 million for next year. He had 1 year left on his contract. It'll be interesting to see if the Cubbies re-sign him. You know? And same, Cody Bellinger. Can they sign Cody too? Again, because these were two great acquisitions that they did last year. Malpal points out that AJ Preller is the only GM in history to be suspended 30 days for cheating, when we know a ton of other managers cheated. Anyway, Hector Neris has declined his $8.5 million player option for next year. He is a free agent and should be in line for a nice deal. Neris had a 1.71 ERA and a 1.05 WHIP in 71 appearances this season. Now here's a good one from Boston Paul. Sent me a tidbit this morning. From 1915 to 1935, Babe Ruth had more home runs than the entire Boston Red Sox team. He had 714 home runs. The entire Red Sox team had 712. The mind-boggling part about this stat is that 43 of the 712 home runs hit by the Red Sox belong to Babe Ruth. Good tidbit by Boston Paul, and we always love when you guys send us the tidbits because we put them right into our list of tidbits, and we love to talk about them. So send the tidbits and happy days. How much does Stroman get? That's the interesting question. Do you think he's going to get a 5-year, $100 million contract, a 3-year, $60 million, or a 2 year, $40 million, including an opt-out? I would say he gets 3 years, $60 million. I think that teams are changing their ways when it comes to these long-term contracts for pitchers because they just never, ever last as long as their contract. And it was getting to the point where, you got a pitcher they're going to sign Ohtani to 10 years, $500 million. It's absolutely insanity to think that Ohtani is going to be that good for the next 10 years. He's just not. He's already had two Tommy John surgeries. Now let's go back and we'll finish on with our free agents, and we'll start with Matt Chapman, third base. He's 31 years old. Only 4 years ago, Chapman was seen as one of the game's rising stars. He earned his first All-Star selection, his second Gold Glove, and his second top 7 AL MVP finish. His offensive production dipped in 2021 and 2022, even though he still remained a solid power hitter. He had 27 home runs in each of those 2 seasons, and he plays excellent third base. His home run total fell to 17 this year, but his .330 on-base percentage was his highest since 2019, and he finished 4th in the American League with 39 doubles. The third base free agent market is thin this winter, which makes Chapman in a position to cash in with a nice deal. Where do you think Chapman ends up? His on-base percentage is much better than his batting average, I think. As I recall, when he played for Oakland, he had a horrible batting average, but I'm not positive of that. I think it's true. Anyway, he plays an excellent third base. The third base market is very shallow. Potential fits to me, the Blue Jays, those pesky Dodgers, and of course the Yankees are always involved. When you don't know where a player's going to go, just say the Dodgers or the Yankees, right? That's pretty much it, okay? Or the Mets. Yeah, that's right. Lenny added his 2 cents. Absolutely. Okay. Jorge Soler, age 32. 2 years ago, Soler won the World Series MVP honors prior to his free agency, which landed him a 3-year, $36 million deal with the Marlins. He has good timing, in his career so far. He has good timing again in 2023. He hit 36 home runs this season and opted out of the final year and $9 million left of his contract. He is one of the premier power bats on the market this winter and should draw plenty of interest, and that's why he opted out. He's 31 years old. Where do you see Jorge Soler? Now, I just want to point out this for my own little mind, okay?
Arizona.
Lenny says Arizona. That's a good guess. We'll pretty much send every power hitter to Arizona until they buff up their power over there. But if you think about the fact that, we all know he's got just massive, massive power, right? Jorge Soler, power guy, not great in the outfield, okay? But excellent for DH, which applies now to the National League and the American League. But think about where he played this year. 36 home runs, playing half his games at home in Miami. The hardest ballpark in baseball to hit home runs out of. What is he going to do if he goes to a place like Colorado? Think of it. Yankee Stadium, Boston. I'll tell you what, he's a big power guy. Oh, you want to call in, huh? I wish you could call in, but...
We're trying to take the call?
Yeah, you could take... Yeah, go ahead. Call us. The number... I'll put the number in the chat room, and I'll have to get up and grab the phone. So give me a second to do that.
Can you have this here?
And I'll just put you on speaker.
Yeah, I'll handle the phone.
All right, you're welcome to call in anytime if you want. We love to hear from our friends in Arizona. Too bad and sad that we missed it, but here we go. Good morning to my fellow baseball fans.
Hi, Andy. Hello, Andy.
Great to hear you.
Nice being heard.
So what's going on over there in Arizona with no time change? Is it still dark?
It's 80 degrees and the sun's already up. Where are you guys?
Where are we? We're at home, stuck on Long Island.
I got to tell you, you wanted to know who we saw, who we need to report to the crew.
Absolutely, please.
Okay, well, I met this. I think he was a first-round draft pick at one point. I was. Outrageous guy. I was ahead of the curve. Yeah, Mr. Gallo. Oh, my God. #1 draft pick. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Gallo. Great to hear your voice. What about players? What did you see last night?
Well, this guy from Minnesota. Yeah, I got his name here. Let me pull up my list. Rosario from Minnesota, the Twins, won the home run hitting contest. And I was sitting in the right field corner, and there are only 2 lefty batters, so we didn't get a lot of balls. But Manzardo was hitting them all over the place. Foul, though. He was hitting them, pulling them too much. So we had to go running, and ducking because we thought we were going to get killed. Maybe he thought he was golfing or something.
Well, did he ever hit it to the opposite side of the park, or is he just a pull hitter?
Everything I saw, he was real pull. And then I'm trying to think who. One of the guys was hitting, and it was really hitting the ball well. He was in the the semifinals, and he broke his back. And so they gave him a new bat, and he didn't hit another ball out of the infield.
Was he letting his bat or what? Was he putting cork in there?
I have no idea. Maybe he did.
So everything's going good. Tell hi to all our friends. Thank you so much for all the updates. I know one of you has to go home early today. The other one gets to stay.
Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm going to catch a cab in about an hour. Flying back. I'll be back in Connecticut by about, if everything goes well, 5 o'clock.
If everything goes well, right? Famous last words?
Well, famous last words is Thursday, my flight ran about 3 hours late out of Hartford.
Oh, good grief. Okay, guys, thanks so much for the call. Thanks for joining us, and keep on listening for more free agents.
You got it. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay.
Garofalo
and Gallo, thank you for the call. We love it. Everything's good. Now, we talked about Eduardo Rodriguez. Good morning to King Hap. Great to see you. Look at you at Mr. Olympia. How fun for you, right? Of course, King Hap's posting pictures and he's selling his advertisements. We got him selling a power bar here. All right, the Marlins need Soler worse than anybody. Great to hear you guys. Wonderful for you to call in. We talked about Eduardo Rodriguez. Now we know for sure that he doesn't qualify for he can't qualify for an offer. Also, he did opt out of his final 3 years and $49 million contract. He did have a decent season, so he should have little trouble eclipsing those numbers with the new contract. He is a lefty, and he had a good season in the first half before he injured his finger, and then that put him on the shelf for about 5 weeks. And while he didn't pitch at the same level as he did in April and May, he allowed 2 or fewer runs in 8 of his 15 starts after his return. So there is a need for quality starting pitching around the leagues, and he should have plenty of suitors. He put up a 3.89 ERA across 81 innings after returning in July from his finger injury, which may have factored into his decline because he put up a 2.64 ERA in his first 71 2/3 innings of the season. it interesting that he opted out. But would he fit into a place like Baltimore or Cincinnati or the Rays? Tampa Bay would be a good place. And the thing about the Rays is that because Shane McClanahan will miss at least most of next season, the Rays could be a good fit for a lefty like Eduardo. Write this one down. Young Hoo Lee. It's spelled Junghoollee. He's a center fielder, age 25. He's Korean baseball league right now, and he's expected to be posted this year, all right? Even after ankle surgery ended his season in August. He was the 2022 KBO League MVP who hit .429 for Team Korea in the World Baseball Classic. His career slash line is .340 average, .407 on base percentage in 7 seasons, okay? And he's considered to be an above average defender in center field. He will be signed somewhere. We don't know where. Among the teams reportedly scouting Lee are the Red Sox, the Cardinals, and the Giants. Some people think he would be an ideal fit in San Francisco. Of course, he's only 25 years old, and I will point out again that sometimes these players that come from other countries, they take a little while to get acclimated, but he has extraordinary pedigree, and he's only 25. They say he's a contact hitter with the ability to draw walks. The Giants love left-handed bats. This guy is a lefty. The potential fits include the Mariners, the Giants, and of course, the Yankees. Lourdes Gurriel is a free agent, one of my favorite players in fantasy and one of my favorite players all around. I didn't realize how tall this guy is, okay? He's only 30 years old. He made his first All-Star team in 2023, but do remember, I point this out every time I talk about this guy, so I probably sound like a broken record, but when he was with the Blue Jays for the first part of his career, he was batting at the bottom of the order. There's just too many good hitters in Toronto to put this guy in the middle of the order, but when he went to Arizona, he was able to hit in a good spot in the order, and it certainly shows up in his stats. He established a career high with 24 home runs, 82 RBIs, a 772 OPS. He ranked in the top quarter of the league in hard hit percentage and strikeout percentage, while his defensive metrics are solid. Defensive metrics. He's 30. I told you he helped the Diamondbacks reach the World Series in his first year in Arizona, and there will be plenty of competition for his services. All right, 261 average, 24 homers, 81 RBIs, 65 runs scored, 34 doubles, and 2 triples over a career-high 144 contests. Now, this guy excels against left-handed pitchers. 301 batting average against lefties. Also, his 81.3% contact rate really accentuates his plate discipline, which I love it. He plays left field and DH. And I think Lourdes Gurriel is an asset to any team that decides to take him on. And I certainly hope that his fantasy value remains he's undervalued in fantasy. He actually, listen to this. You know, this is another thing about this guy. Him and his brother Yuli, they came over from Cuba, okay? They came over from Cuba. You know that is not an easy trek. Gurriel Jr., Lourdes Gurriel, came over when Yuli was already in the league, and Lourdes signed a 7-year contract with the Blue Jays for just $22 million total. Now he's going to get paid, and he deserves it. Think of that, $22 million for 7 years. Now, to you or me, $22 million, that's great. If we could do that in 7 years, we'd all be happy as heck. But when you think about it, it's not great for baseball. They made a good decision when they signed him, right? The White Sox desperately need bats in their lineup after yet another disappointing season, and Gurriel is a proven contributor who would instantly slot in at the top of the lineup for the White Sox. So, I do think there's a good chance he signs with the White Sox, but other potential fits are the Atlanta Braves, the Diamondbacks, and of course, got to throw in the Yankees. What? Two more. Lenny's putting me on notice, telling me I can only do 2 more. So, anyway, okay. We talked about Shota. I don't know how to say his name. Shota is what I'm going to call him. Left-handed pitcher, age 30. Started the gold medal game for Team Japan in this year's World Baseball Classic, kicking off a year that saw him go 7-5 with a 2.66 ERA for the Yokohama Bay Stars. He has been one of the best pitchers in Japan since he broke into the Central League in 2016, posting more than a strikeout per inning throughout his career. He is expected to be posted this offseason and should have multiple suitors, including those pesky Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez got off to a sluggish start in his first season with the Mariners, but he did turn things around in June. He posted solid numbers, 26 homers, 93 RBIs over 160 games. He has hit at least 25 homers in each of his past 4 full seasons and carries a career OPS of .802. Teoscar has a strong arm, but he's considered to be a below-average fielder, with some viewing him as a future DH by his mid-30s. Potential fits include Milwaukee Brewers, Mariners, Mets.
Crackers. What's up?
Rhys Hoskins, all right, age 31. A torn left ACL kept Hoskins out for all of the season, but he now has been a steady source of power since breaking in with the Phillies in 2017. He's hit at least 27 home runs in each of his 4 full seasons. So as long as his knee is not an issue, he should be among the top power bats available this offseason. Potential fits include, once again, the Brewers, the Padres, and the Mariners. Giolito, right-handed pitcher, age 29, does not qualify for an offer. He was one of the top targets at the trade deadline, but his move to LA was a disaster. He went 1-5 with a 6.89 ERA in his final 6 starts with the Angels, and his season-ending stint with the Guardians was somehow even worse. He went 1-4 with a 7.04 ERA in 6 starts for them. Nobody will confuse Giolito with a bona fide ace. But he's only 29 and he does eat innings, right? He is a proven innings eater and will likely be paid accordingly. Some potential fits include the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, and the Red Sox. Oh, if I start... Okay, well, I'll just keep going. Yariel Rodriguez, right-handed pitcher, age 27. He's a starter turned reliever. He played in Cuba from 2015 to 2020 when he joined the Chunichi Dragons in Japan's Central League. He posted a 1.15 ERA and 27.5% strikeout rate in 56 appearances in 2022. But after pitching for Team Cuba in this year's World Baseball Classic, he chose not to return to Japan, instead preparing himself for a chance to move to MLB. Chunichi granted him his release in early October, paving the way for him to come to MLB, where more than half of the league's teams attended his first showcase earlier this month. He was formally declared a free agent Friday on November 3rd, and he did have some hoops to jump through as a defector from his native Cuba, but that is all in the rearview now as he seeks his first major league contract. He's a hard-throwing 26-year-old right-handed pitcher. He did not pitch professionally in 2023, but I told you a 1.15 ERA and 60 to 18 strikeout to walk ratio over 54 and 2/3 innings of relief in 2022. He's already held a number of showcases for interested MLB clubs in the Dominican Republic, and as I mentioned, more than half the league's teams attended. Potential fits include the Padres, the White Sox, and the Yankees. Whit Merrifield, age 35. It wasn't all that long ago that Merrifield ranked among the annual AL leaders in hits, and while those days might be behind him, he remains a very useful player. He's a 3-time All-Star since 2019. He can play all over the field and hit 11 home runs with 67 RBIs and 26 stolen bases this year, ranking in the top 20% of the league in strikeout percentage and sprint speed. The option was worth, now here's the thing, Merrifield and the Blue Jays both declined the mutual option for next season. The option was worth $18 million, so it's little surprise the team is willing to move on, given that Merrifield lost playing time down the final stretch. He is entering his age 35 season, so he could be looking for a final payday. He maintained a 700 OPS with 11 home runs and 26 steals across 592 plate appearances this last year. Potential fits: the Blue Jays, the Twins, the White Sox. And that's it. I got a couple more, but we'll do those another time. We'll keep adding to this list. We got Conforto and a couple other ones, Jack Flaherty, Heimer Candelario, and Harrison Bader. So thanks everybody for joining me on this wonderful Sunday morning. I know you all came for Lady and the Legend, and you just got the lady. We appreciate it. Thank you to Chris Gallo and John G. for calling in and giving us an update on the Home Run Derby yesterday at the Arizona Fall League. We do miss going to first pitch, and hopefully we'll be able to attend next year. That's the goal. We love you all. Enjoy your Sunday. It's football Sunday, and have a great day.